Yo, what's going on? It's me, Jay. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the current news situation that's going on with Donald Trump, President Trump, and the squad. The origins of this feud lie in a different feud between Nancy Pelosi and um, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. Now, for those that don't know, the squad consists of four freshman congresswomen: Ilhan Omar, from Minnesota; Rashida Tlaib from Michigan; Ayanna Presley from Massachusetts; and Alexander Ocasio Cortez from New York. And these women have been outspoken about racial injustice. They've been outspoken about Israel-Palestine situation, especially the two Muslim women, and they've been outspoken about Black Lives Matter. And they've also been outspoken against the president and against current Democratic leadership, which includes Speaker Pelosi. And they've been, like Trump, they've been utilizing utilizing the internet and social media, and also, like President Trump, they have really grassroots and vocal followings. While President Trump has it from the alt right and other radical right wing groups, these four women have it from the Democratic progressive side. And Nancy Pelosi basically told AOC to basically shut the hell up and not um, cause any problems with the Democratic leadership over the border crisis. To which AOC responded that she's going to continue to double down and do whatever she wants. And then President Trump jumps in, and President Trump, to defend Nancy Pelosi, he says that that he that they should go back to their countries of origin, specifically in reference to Ilhan Omar, and that they hate Israel and they hate the United States. To which they respond that he's the occupier in chief. They don't recognize the legitimacy of his presidency because of Russian collusion and obstruction. And then he has a rally the same day, a couple days ago, in North Carolina, in which they chant, send her back," in regards to Ilhan Omar. And then Ilhan Omar claps back on Twitter saying that she supports BDS, which is boycott the boycott, divestment, sanctions movement against Israel, which many paint as anti-Semitic. But it's just really interesting because on both sides you have outspoken people that utilize heavily social media, and really on both sides you really have people who really don't have the fake political culture that exists in Washington. Fake politeness to where they feel like they have to say what is politically correct on both sides, the left side of the squad and the right side of President Trump. Um, uh, you have people that are not from Washington. They're all five of them are outsiders, and they've really gone against um, the Washington elites of both their parties. We saw this in the 2016 election as well as the 2018 midterms, in which AOC in this district in New York City beat out John Crowley for her congressional seat. And it's just very interesting to see how what happens when political outsiders get a hold of um, powerful seats in government. Now, do I think what Trump said is reprehensible? Of course, I think so. In regards to what they said that Elhan Omar said, she doesn't. Elhan Omar didn't really say anything that was anti-Semitic. Now, for months, they've been saying that she's anti-Semitic. Her and Rashida Tlaib. Um, they take several statements that Rashida and Elhan say out of context. For example, like what Rashida said was that the idea that Palestinian people in the 1940s took in um, refugees from Eastern Europe from the Holocaust, and that the state of Israel was founded to basically give Jewish refugees from the Holocaust a place to go, gives her a calming feeling that her ancestral homeland, Palestine, took these refugees in. Now, historically, that's not really accurate, and I have to disagree with Congresswoman Tlaib on that, because during the 1940s and before, the Palestinian people, or the Arab people at that time, they're called Arabs, um, in the country, in the land that would eventually become Palestine, the people would eventually be known as Palestinians, they fought tooth and nail um, against allowing Jewish immigrants from Eastern Europe to come into there when it was under the British mandate. Now, what she could be referring to is when Muslims and other people from the Ottoman Empire took in Jewish refugees from Spain, but that was in the 1500s. That was after the expulsion of 1492, not um, after the expulsion of uh, after the Holocaust or even before. Haj Amin Husseini, who was the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem at the time during the British Mandate, like I said, fought against Jewish immigration and even allied with Hitler and the Nazis. So she's really historically inaccurate, but I get what she meant, that Muslims in the past have treated Jewish people in the Muslim lands with much more respect and dignity than um, in Christian lands, in which they were subject to pogroms and subject to massive persecution even before the Holocaust. Christian Europe was famous for anti-Semitism. That's undeniable. As famous or as infamous for anti-Semitism as America was for racism. So, and what Ilhan Omar said was not anti-Semitic at all. What she said was, why does the United States go all out for the Israeli lobby? And she said it was all about the Benjamins, and it is. It is. I mean, like, both both parties, the Republicans as well as the Democrats, unequivocally support Israel in the building of settlements. I've never heard a Democratic or a Republican president or government official say anything about the building of Israeli settlements on the occupied territories in the West Bank or the Gaza Strip. So what she said is true. What she said is not anti-Semitic. They try to say that it appeals to an anti-Semitic trope that Jewish people are money hungry and greedy. Uh, um, I don't think so. You know, I just think she she believes that Israelis, the Israeli government in Jerusalem, use their power and influence to influence American elections, and they do. So does Saudi Arabia. So does Russia. So does China. So do all these other countries. You know, I mean, what she said, there's nothing wrong with what she said. Now, what President Trump said, what he didn't really say, but he